Hello and welcome to the Triple Trio, your weekly look at all things Hong Kong racing. And what a week it has been. My name is James Seferis, warming the seat for one final time for the great man, Jason Richardson. This man is Clint Hutchison, the star of the show. Hutchie, good to be with you for the third week in a row.
Yeah, third week in a row. I'm not the star of the show. That honour lies upon one Raymond Shane Dye. And I've got some news regarding Raymond Shane Dye as well. We've got to wish him a very happy birthday, Shane. I've got the cake here. I'm sad to say that I'm not going to be able to send it up to...
spared no expense, Shane.
It is a very happy birthday. They didn't have the 4s and the 3s, so I ended up just going with the normal sort of happy birthday setup.
I'm 59.
I wasn't going to ask that. Hey, rare.
That's all right. I don't care. I am what I am. I tell you what, there's a few people today's birthday in racing.
Who else, Shane?
Well, you got Blake Sheen, you got Joe Moreira, you got the great trackside personality Jenny Chapman in Hong Kong, and then you can add the late Olivia Newton-John, the beautiful one, Serena Williams. I think it's her birthday today. So a lot of our parents had fun on New Year's Eve or Christmas.
Well, Shane, great that you're spending your birthday with us, mate. We wouldn't have it any other way. I would ask how your week's been with Hong Kong racing, but we had an interesting week, it's fair to say.
Yeah, no races, the rain, but they got it right like they always do in Hong Kong with the weather. It was just torrential rain, as you can see here, and they did the right thing by calling the races off on Sunday for Wednesday race meeting, because when you live in Hong Kong, you realise that the weather is very predictable when they say it's going to be a typhoon like this, and they prepared for it, which you got to do, but it was big, Clint.
Oh, unbelievable. These pictures courtesy of South China Morning Post as well. And look at some of these scenes. Yeah, it was predicted that it was going to be terrible. So they made the early call and, some unbelievable scenes that we're getting visuals of here. So no racing Wednesday. Hopefully most stayed safe because it had a fair bit of impact across the region and some unfortunate scenes around Asia. But we are back racing this Sunday, fortunately.
It's an incredibly, for someone like me that's, bread and butter is Australian racing, it is an incredibly durable and resilient racing jurisdiction to think that they could have the super typhoon and a few days later they're back racing come Sunday.
Unbelievable. And Shane, I think the other thing is that, they had all of that rain on Sunday. We had the last 2 races abandoned, but I've never noticed that in Hong Kong before with the track condition, but there was up to 200 mils of rain they'd had for that basic 24-hour period. And if they probably get another hour, they might have been all right even with this, but there was an area of the track that was inspected by the jockeys and it was interesting scenes on Sunday.
If anyone doesn't realise, that is the best track in the world. I've seen like 15 inches of rain in a day there, like just torrential, and they race on practically a good track if it stops. Now, that track come Sunday will be good. There's no doubt about that, and they'll be running very fast times. It's whatever they do, I don't understand why other jurisdiction places don't do it, because it's just the perfect racing surface.
Yeah, I think a bit part of it, with the weather that you get in Hong Kong, the sand mesh really suits it, and they've got the ability to, redo the track every year. They invest in it, and that's unfortunately around the world. Not everybody can do that, Shane. It's just really...
They haven't got the money.
No, they haven't got the money that they do there.
All right, plenty to look forward to on the show, but before we look forward, let's rewind. We did have an abridged week, an amended week of racing in Hong Kong, but there were still a few highlights. Let's check them out.
I think we can take the Quinella with numbers 1, 6 and 7.
Sky Trust, though, he's put half a length now, 1 over Wonder Star, and Sky Trust bolts in, beat home Wonder Star.
Horse by the name of Motor, race 2, number 2. Don't need to take too many in the Quinella.
But Motor's got a very good chance, but I think Winning Champion's improved from last season, so I'll go him.
Motor's a length and a half clear. Winning Champion, Field Marshal is trying to grip on for third, but Motor too good for Winning Champion, and third's a Photo.
Some highlights there, some winners thanks to HUTCHI'S Honkers. And speaking of winners, a big show to look forward to. Star Power, we're going ×2. We've got a couple of special guests.
Yeah, and one that you know very well, of course, Britney Wong is one of them, and we're going to have a chat with Derek Leung as well, of course, who'll be riding Lucky Sweynesse, and this is just a bit of background on Derek's sort of weekend coming up.
The form files, the idol. You're going to take us back to school. I think the punters appreciated a bit of bit of teacher, Mr. Hutchison, last week?
That they do, and I'm going to talk about brown lampers specifically, and also green lampers, which are the horses that move in the market and are highlighted on the Hong Kong Jockey Club tote. So we'll talk a little bit more about what that actually means.
And obviously a look at some global racing, some of the highlights from the week that's been, things to look forward to this weekend. Speaking of this weekend, Sunday is for Hong Kong racing. We go in search of some winners. Well, time to turn our attention to a massive card at Sha Tin on Sunday. And Hutch, we've got a feature. It is a Group 3 race, and on paper, it's a great little race.
Yeah, some big names, a handicap as well, so it might be a bit of an advantage for a few. A little lower down the weights. One of those that still carries a bit of weight, but what a season he had last term was My Wish. He was the best 4-year-old, and I think he can kick off with a win this weekend. Got him marked a favourite in early markets over Packingham, around 550. Patch of Theta, a 1,400 metre specialist, would be my third pick. Shane, this was a run last year in the Champions Mile from My Wish. He angled away from the inside. The inside couple of lanes were definitely better late in the race, and we've got Voyage Bubble, Sunlight Power also taking part, but this was a great run at the end of a long campaign.
Well, this is the real deal. This is, all the A graders, and he performed very well. Only thing I'll say about this horse, Clint, he's not very big. He's only around 990 pounds. I just hope he's put on a little bit of weight this season. His 2 trials have been excellent. Here he is here winning a trial. He won both of them, of course, and he looks really good, and he looks as though he's come back really well, Clint.
You get some good small ones. Designs on Rome wasn't much bigger. He was a superstar. So he can carry it, but it does stop them at some point. But what I've been really impressed with My Wish, Shane, is that, he effectively, what he did last season was almost all in one campaign. He had a couple of runs at the end of the season prior, and he was up in work a long time. So he's a horse it should in theory only improve, I think, at the start of this season.
Oh, definitely. Like the best thing about him is he puts himself in a position very easy, and he can stay out of trouble, and he's on pace. So that helps him a lot. And, that's a big advantage in Hong Kong if you can get on pace.
Okay. What about a horse down the bottom, Light Years Charm, Hutch?
Really flourished at the end of last season, well ridden. He had the perfect race shape on a few occasions, and he gets in nicely weighted here. So you got Zach sticking, he's worked well. In this race, fortunately, they'd sort of gone reasonable tempo, backed off a little bit, he chimed in and went well. Inside draw, Shane, he'll get back. He can be slow away, that's not ideal.
Yeah, I didn't think his trial was over impressive. He trialled all right, but not super, Clint. But a couple of his wins last season were extraordinary. Here's this race last year where co-partner Prance kicked in front and won. And, of course, he'll be going forward tomorrow. Yeah,
similar sort of setup tomorrow because we've got a couple that competed in this race. Victor, the winner, might go forward. He won't get 1,400. Co-partner Prance won't get that easy a time. The interesting run is Packing Hermod, Shane. We saw him run slick time last season. 119.9 he ran one day with Joe Moreira. He's a serious horse when he's right.
And he never goes bad. He's very consistent, and he's a nice horse.
What is the verdict? Who wins the feature Group 3?
I think it's a pretty open race, but I've got My Wish on top from Packing Herman, Patch of Theatre. I think they stand out, but it's an open race where, when I say it's an open race, there's a lot of nice horses like Ruby Lot. Davano ran well the other day. Joanne's Brahms was good. Mark Wynn won the other day. And we're forgetting Happy Together, the toppy. He trialled extremely well and raced well without winning all last season. So it's a really good race, this.
So this could be a race, Hutch, even horses that don't win or run top 3, it might be a good form race going forward.
There's horses in this race that'll be running in internationals come in December, so we'll see plenty of them, and we want to see that next generation come through. He didn't win the Derby, My Wish, but he would have with a barrier, and he was the best of the crop. And there's a couple of good ones in that crop. I was really singing their praises last season, and they've gone out and done very well since, even though a few were questioning it, which is always the case every year, but he's a good horse.
All right, let's rewind and have a look at race number 6, or race number 7, I should say, Hutch. And in terms of the prices here, or the horses that you're keen to see, what's catching your eye?
Well, Little Paradise is a really interesting runner here, and in particular with Zach Purton having done a fair bit of work. We've got King of Fighters, Storm Rider, Bundle of Charm, a number of these were due to compete recently and didn't. But he's an exciting prospect, Little Paradise, Shane. He's a horse that Gee, he should have won this day. Keep an eye on this horse in the mauve colours, looking for an angle now. This was some run.
It was an extraordinary run. He's a very good horse, this. I think he's going to come back better, a year more mature. He'll be stronger. He trialled very well the other day with Zach on him, and he's going to be very hard to beat here, Clint.
Yep, the key with Bundle of Charm, he's consistent. This is his level. He should have won their Little Paradise. He's been a bit unlucky on more than one occasion, Little Paradise, and this was his trial. Now, Arwen was also competing in the trial. But Shane, from your eye, and you're great at reading these trials, to me it looked like he just was a bit more switched on, a bit more race smart, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, he raced very green last year. He didn't know how, or last season I should say, he didn't know how to race properly. He wasn't a true racehorse. He was learning. So let's just hope now he does. And a lot of horses do improve and put it together their second season. Look, I think he's going to go pretty high, this horse. He's going to go a lot higher than he is, and he'll be winning races for sure this season. He's going to be very short, Clint.
Yep, yeah, he will be short. I'm going to have him pretty short in my market, but he should get a nice run as well. Zach's got an unbelievable book of rides. This is one of many that really can win the race, and he jumps from gate 4. So if he can jump as well as he did the other day, Shane, do you think he can sort of set 1-1 this time around the way he trialled?
Well, you got Zach on them, and Zach always likes to ride a lot of horses, sometimes one spot too close. He'll ride him where he's travelling, and I'm sure he'll be closer than further back with him on it.
What did you make of the trial of Storm Rider? I thought he seemed to go well. In the recent sort of meeting where we had Light Years Glory or Charm, Light Years Glory, that, you know, had Griffin form. Not convinced about that form.
Well, funny about Lightyear Glory, like I couldn't find him last year first up. He had 6 trials and they were only average, and he come out and won his first start. Of course, I think it was $45, $50. So he surprised everyone. Again, this season, he hasn't trialled very well. But do you believe the trials, or do you believe last season? His 2 runs were very good. I haven't got him in the top 3, but it wouldn't be a surprise if he ran a race. So I'm going for Little Paradise. It's not hard to find him. Bundle of Charm from gate 2 should get the right run. And Storm Rider, he's a nice horse who hasn't done much wrong.
All right, let's have a look at race number 10, a little bit deeper into this card on Sunday. And talk to us about your thoughts here in this contest.
Well, look, another one of Zach's I've got on top. This is a more competitive race. Like, this is sort of a horse that could be, I'll probably have somewhere between $4 and $5. And South Star's trialled well. Armour War Eagle is definitely one to consider strongly. Shane, Armour War Eagle always needs a bit of luck. He gets back. Gee, Beauty Crescent, for a horse that took 30 starts to win a race, he's gone bang, bang. And he's actually showed a fair bit of tenacity on the way to victory. So he's a horse that's going better than ever.
Yes, he is. He's racing really well. I don't know whether he'll get a soft lead this time, and he needs it to win because he just keeps kicking. South Star raced well last year. He's going to be hard to beat. He trialled good. He's got Zach on. He'll probably be... He can race anywhere, that horse, but he'd be midfield to forward. It's not clear-cut, this race. I don't mind the bottom one, Clint, Top Time. I know he's going up in class, and here's South Star... trialling, and he trialled well, Clint.
Yeah, the thing with South Star, which I thought was quite interesting, I wanted to see how he trialled, because in the middle stage of this trial and in some of his races, Shane, he's got quite keen. So I think this is one horse that, look, Zach's got great hands. He might be able to lead on him and put him to sleep a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if he wanted to get a bit of cover, because I think he can overdo it a little bit.
I loved his airs in the trial, how they were pricked. That's a horse who's travelling easy and going better than what it looks like. Here's Top Time last week. You pointed him out 2 weeks ago, I think, Clint. He should have won for sure.
Yep.
Now, I know he's going to Class 3, but he's got no weight. He's got gate 1. He's going to get back a bit on the fence, and he gets his chance to win this, Clint, with no weight. Now, is he good enough? We're about to find out on Sunday.
Yeah, I've got him sort of about, I think, 5th pick in my numbers. Like, I think you want an each-way price about him. But he could
definitely.
Win. Yeah, and I think he's just going to need that speed on. His best runs have been when there's been pace on. So if he gets pace on, he could certainly run well.
Who's on top for the birthday boy, Shane?
I think it's an open race. I've got him on top from, of course, South Star and Armour War Eagle. They pick themselves.
All right, that's a look at race number 10. And to finish with, Hutch, we can have a look at race number 9. Now, this is a very similar race on paper to one that we spoke about last week, and one that ultimately wasn't run on that Sunday card due to the
and there's been a couple of significant changes. No Baby Crystal, so a bit of pace dropped out of the race, and that's why I've got Harmony and Blessed 480 favourite. And Gorgeous Win, who I had favourite last week, is now Unfortunately, Shane drawn barrier 10, so, I've sort of demoted him a little bit. This is a key race from last year, which we showed last week, JT, and all of these have got good chances. Harmony and Bless led up. The track probably favoured him a bit. Tomodachi Cockrow's in the mix and Dancing Code. Any one of these, Shane, I think, could genuinely win the race. It's very competitive. There's not much. It's about a length and a half between about half a dozen to 8 horses here.
Now the thing with Harmony and Bless is its second up form is very, very good. I think he's won 3 out of 5 seasons being their second up. So he goes really good second up. Here he is again. He went no good first up, but he can improve on it. This run. Here's Gorgeous Wind coming from back down the outside in the red colours. He ran very well. I don't know whether this race is going to set up as well as it was going to last week, Clint. I agree with you.
Yeah, it sort of forces Hugh probably to ride him similar to what Britney did on that occasion, drop him out. Like, I can't see them being overly positive with him. There'll be decent speed. He's going to need a bit of luck, and I'm sure that Hugh will probably ride him that way and be back there with another horse called Young Champion as well.
Shane, as we head across to you, just send us home with a winner here in race number 9.
Well, I'm going to go totally different to last Sunday where I tipped your Gorgeous Win. I'm going to go Dancing Code on top from gate 2 from Tomodachi Cockerrow and Midwinter Wind to get back and run on. But if Harmony and Bless gets a soft lead on a good track second up, it can definitely run a race.
All right, looking forward to a massive Sunday there at Sha Tin. Of course, HUTCHI'S Honkers for the full thoughts on the meeting right now. A quick break on the Triple Trio on the other side. We're heading to Japan and catching up with Derek Leung as he prepares to chase a Group 1.
You're My Everything, though, moved up to Speedy Smarty, and You're My Everything wins the first. Sugar Ball leading, Raging Rapids, better and better Roman Crown. It's still Sugar Ball in front of Raging Rapids. Top times flying through late. Sugar Ball in front, Sugar Ball. But it's Motor in front of Winning Champion and Field Marshal. Motor's a length and a half clear. Field Marshal is trying to grip on for third, but Motor too good.
For Star Power on the Triple Trio, and we are going international. We're heading to Japan this week, and for good reason, because Lucky Sweynesse bids for Group 1 glory, and the man piloting him is Derek Leung, and Derek joins us. Derek, thanks so much for jumping on the Triple Trio, mate. I'm sure you're excited to be in Japan and chase a Group 1 win.
Yes, well, thank you for having me, and I'm very lucky, honored to represent Hong Kong. So I'd like to thank you, the owner and the trainer, that great opportunity.
Derek, it was an amazing run last start, I thought, from Lucky Sweynesse behind Ka Ying Rising. What were your impressions of that performance?
Well, that one was quite impressive because of the handicap. We only carry 1 to 5 against Ka Ying Rising, and yeah, we're still very happy to just behind Ka Ying Rising.
This was a horse that had a long time off, for those who don't know, and he had 12 months, and he's only had a couple of runs back now, Derek. So it was really a good performance. And how's he gone since you've been in Japan in terms of his track work? I know you've been over there for a few days. How does Lucky Sweynesse feel?
Yeah, he feels better and better in Japan, and I feel like the same like what he trained in Hong Kong. And as a thank you to the stable staff, they've been after him very well. The trainer looked after the horse very good. And yeah, the horse seems like everything goes smooth at the moment.
And this trip to Japan, Derek, obviously Lucky Sweynesse heading over, but you yourself have travelled over to Japan in the past. You went over for Victor the winner in another race. What's that experience like? Yeah,
there's great experience last time Victor the winner. And we still have a lot of bad results. We finished third last time. And the pattern with Hong Kong races is a bit different. When they go, they never stop, they never slow down, they just keep maintain the speed. So a little bit different compared to Hong Kong, but I'm sure Lucky Sweynesse can handle it.
Some of the competition that you have, Derek, on the weekend, Satono Rev is, of course, a horse, James, we know well from Hong Kong. He ran second to Ka Ying Rising. He'll be one of your main rivals as well as we have a look at the field there. And what did you think of the competition that you've got there with Lucky Sweynesse?
Yeah, the that will be gonna be a tough race for him, and especially we have an outside draw and the track a little bit tricky. It's very hard from behind to catch up the ground. So the outside draw, I still need to discuss with the trainer, but ideally we still try to be positive first and see what happens. And see what's the race course plan out tomorrow and Sunday, what's the track like, the condition.
And it must be nice from the point of view that we've had a Hong Kong horse. I know it was in Korea and might not be of the high standard in compared to Japan, but Hong Kong horses are travelling quite a bit these days. We've seen Romantic Warrior go all around the world, so the Hong Kong horses are doing very well.
Yes, well, Romantic Warrior is like a horse of the year, and they're doing very well, and I hope this Sunday my horse can do it the same.
Shane, I might bring you into the conversation just quickly here. How do you rate Lucky Sweynesse's chances over in the Group 1?
Well, Clint would know better than I do because I don't know the Japanese or form that well, but there's a couple of nice Japanese sprinters in there that we've seen in Hong Kong. But on his last run, if he reproduces that, he won't be far away. So good luck, Derek, and I hope it goes very, very well for you. We would love to see you bring home another Group 1 to Hong Kong.
What would it mean for you, Derek, to win a Group 1 on this horse and to win one in Japan? Do you feel like you're going there representing Hong Kong?
Yes, of course. We come here and try to get a good result. So hope we can get the trophy to go home.
Clint, it's nice to have a private driver, isn't it?
Yeah. You remember those days, Shane? You remember those days?
Yes, a long time ago, sitting back there very relaxed you are, Derek.
They're looking after you, Derek?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they're looking, the Jockey Club look after us very good.
Beautiful, mate. Well, thanks so much again for jumping on the Triple Trio. I know all of Hong Kong and many people here in Australia as well, very excited and cheering for Lucky Sweynesse.
Hey, we hope he goes as fast as you did, Derek, in that jockey sprint. This is some footage of you. Every season they have all the jockeys out there. They run in the race. Derek, you win this nearly every year.
I always finish top 3 for the jockey sprinter, so not bad.
Yeah, well, let's hope.
And Jem is like a giraffe.
I don't think Shane...
Clint, it's either Derek or Taris Teaton that normally wins. He's very fast.
He won't be happy.
Teaton's very fast.
He won't be very happy, our own Jason Richardson, when we're talking about sprinting and he's not here.
Oh, I think Derek's been covered though.
Yeah, Derek's very good, very fast.
Was good back in the 90s, but I reckon Derek's got him covered. Hey, Derek, thanks so much again for joining the Triple Trio. Good luck for a big weekend.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Derek Leung there over in Nakayama preparing for the Group 1 Sprinter Stakes, and you would think, Hutch, if he brings what we saw first up behind the world's best sprinter in Kai Rising, he would have to be some sort of chance.
You know what? We forget how good Lucky Sweynesse was, don't we, Shane? I mean, he was a genuine, a bona fide star, genuine Group 1 sprinter, and that first up performance said to me, we might have him back. Yeah. And, if he improves off of that, he can win. And he might be a price in Japan. I mean, I'm not sure they'll pay him a lot of respect when they look at his overall form, but knowing Hong Kong, I think, he's got a race like that within his grasp.
Well, there's no doubt, he was outstanding. He won everything. I know one year he was unlucky in the international sprint, but you just wanted to be on him in every sprint, as you do now, want to be on Kai Rising in every sprint. He's a great old horse.
Excited to see what he can do on Sunday in Japan. That is Lucky Sweynesse. Time for another break on the Triple Trio. HUTCHI'S form files we'll catch up with on the other side. Well, it's time to open up HUTCHI'S form file. Get out your little black book, have your pen at the ready as we speak to the great man about some of the things that have caught his eye. And Hutch, we'll start with the Sweet in Defeat file, a horse or horses that have been racing well and you think that a win might be just around the corner.
Yeah, I think this was a really good performance from the Red Hair last week. Now, we obviously had a lot of rain at the meeting and you can see where he's drawn, and usually from the stable when they draw a little bit wide, they're happy to be quite neutral or negative on him. And I just feel that they gave away too much ground. At this meeting, generally when it rains in Hong Kong, and I know we had a winner come from well back at the meeting, but generally you want to be on speed. You can't be giving away too much ground on wet tracks up there. The vast majority of horses that figure you're better off being wide and a little bit closer. And he just conceded, I thought, Shane, too much ground early. Got back 5 or 6 lengths. He dipped in the running. He wasn't really handling the going. And at the point of him probably then becoming detached from the body of the field, you could see the horse that he's sort of now off the bit and not really balanced. I loved his final 400 metres. He gets a touch held up here. I think back on a good surface, from a barrier, this is a horse that can settle much, much closer, not concede so much ground at the start. It was a high rating race. And I think the red hair was a very good run in defeat. What do you think, Shane?
Yeah, he ran well. He's probably going to be better suited 1,400 metres too, Clint. Like last season, he had 3 unplaced runs, but he actually got home all right in all of them. And once he ran a 22.14, which is a very quick sectional to get home. So, yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing. He's a nice horse who hasn't placed but could very soon.
The other horse that I didn't mind the run of, probably a steadier pace, but Bright Day, James, was well off the course the whole way. It's basically 4 and 5 wide. Like I said, it wasn't a massive penalty. When you get those wet tracks, it's sort of just getting through it. But he was still covering more ground, probably entitled to peak on his run a little bit. And it was a very good run from him. So he might be another one to note down.
I think he comes from Macau, doesn't he, Clint?
Yeah, he may well do. There's a couple there. I think Wonder Star was another one I didn't realise.
Wonder Star, definitely, and him come from Macau. And they both performed pretty well in Hong Kong, actually.
Yeah.
There's a couple to keep an eye on for the meetings in the coming days and weeks and months. As far as your Hutchie's Honkers top rater for the week, who was the performance that you were quite impressed with?
Well, that's the race that I like. The race that I showed with the red hair. They ran good time now. It's easy afterwards. We were questioning the Sky Trust, Shane, because he hadn't had a trial. Well, the stable obviously knew he was well backed. And he's a gelding by So You Think. Absolutely revelled in the wet conditions and proved too good. Easy afterwards.
Well, he had a throat operation, of course, and I'm always a little bit worried, but they just all seem to be coming back. I reckon 80% of them come back now, whereas before it was about 20%. It's a very successful operation now, the wind, Clint.
Yeah, absolutely, Shane.
Speaking of successful operations, G1 Goldmine and Stallion match is just that. I've basically spent every day on it since we last spoke, Hutch, just trying to work out a few bits and pieces, and we want to talk about it this week, particularly in reference to Southport Typhoon, who's standing his first season at start, and he's sort of lighting up the G1 Goldmine. Yeah,
well, of course, big part of G1 Goldmine, Matty Ennis, who was, I think, in a small part owner of Southport, and this is some of the horses that he's gone to. And Stanley Match, a great feature. This time of year, you need to use it if you want to know where your mares are best suited. So he'll do well, Southport Tycoon as well.
Yeah, the son of Written Tycoon, those Danehill Lion mares, incredible. So if you've got a mare you're thinking about sending to, any stallion, but maybe Southport Tycoon, jump on to G1 Goldmine, get involved with the Stallion Match, and you can have a look at all the historical and retrospective data that can maybe inform your decision.
It'll help you. You've got to have the data on side, JT.
Speaking about data, we lean on data and we lean on experience and skill. And Shane Dye has all of that. He is the idol. And now it's time for the idol. Well, Shane, obviously a smaller sample size to choose from with what happened with the Super Typhoon, but was there a ride or rides that caught your eye in the last week for the right reasons?
Well, I want to show this ride. I thought this was a very good ride. He had gate 1, Andrea Ancini on Mojave Desert, but he doesn't dig it hard. He's a query at the 1650, this horse, and he just gets him into the right spot and wastes no energy. Now, I know he's got gate 1, so it helps and it's easy, but there's a couple of things I want to show you during the race, and one's at the 600. But the first thing coming up here, he doesn't panic on him. He knows that he's got to run the 1650, so he's got to hold him up. But if you watch up here, he pulls some goggles off. Now, jockeys will wear 3 or 4 pairs on a dirt like this, and he pulled one off there. But he doesn't let the horse go because of the distance. He hangs on to him, and he gets to the furlong, and now he says, go. I thought that was a perfect ride, Clint. But interesting for viewers that we wear many pairs of goggles and you can't see after about 200 or 300 metres. So you got to pull one off, and he pulled a pair of goggles off there at the 600, Clint.
Yeah, very good ride from Andrea. And, some interesting stats you mentioned about that barrier, Shane. It is very important. Like you said, gate 1. We'll do one of these weeks, we'll show some stats. That 1650 metre start on the dirt at Sha Tin on that track, it's heavily favoured to those horses that are drawn inside for that very reason. It's just, you know, on a 2-turn mile, you know, saving ground is very, very important. So it's a big plus. But what Andrea did is he rode a patient race and it executed it really well.
All right, so some votes there for Andrea Azzini. Before we look at the leaderboard, Shane, was there maybe a rider or a jockey that you thought pulled the wrong rein or maybe made a mistake or two?
Well, this is pulling the wrong rein, but I'm seeing it a lot. You just got to have a little bit more patience. And it's funny how jockeys, this is Elegant Life. This definitely runs second and probably wins. He never got definitely 100% run second. It probably should have won. Now, if you turn for home, he's looking for one thing, and it's just not Lyle. I see a lot of jockeys wanting to get to the outside, and it actually costs them a race because the run happens in front. Now, if you have a look here, in front of him on the head-on, the run's about to open, but he's got set that he wants to get to the outside, but there's a run there on the inside, and the fence was great all day. There was nothing wrong with the fence. And now he just doesn't get clear running where he would have been there and gone. And if you know this horse last year, he unwound late, but also he loved it wet track and he finally got one and he was very unlucky. But it's just that you just got to have that little bit more patience, wait a little bit more and wait for the runs to come instead of trying to get out.
Yeah, and I think it's a great point, and we were on Elegant Life the other day, so it was unfortunate. It was almost as he made that decision, like Shane said, the gap really opened up. Looks bad. Stewart's actually opened an inquiry and accepted all the evidence, which is fair enough. He might have been across heels, but one that Lyle rode the other day, Conspiracy Witness. Same thing, sort of thing happened for Lyle there, and I think Zach's on it this week, so might be one to keep an eye on.
It's a game of millimetres and inches, that's for sure. So Shane, we know that Andrea Azzini gets some votes. Who else are you throwing in the idol this week?
Yui gets 3 because of his 2 rides on Haka Radiance. He went forward, he got the horse relaxed outside the leader, whereas the week before it went to the front, and that's what won the race. And then, of course, he went back on solid wind, and they ran 421.05 on a heavy track. You cannot go that fast after 200 metres, but they did, and he was in the right position back. So because of pace and winning 2 rides, putting them in the right position, he gets 3, and Zini gets 2, and I thought Luke Ferraris rated Precision Gold very, very well on the dirt. But there wasn't much racing during the week, of course. We only had the 8 races last Sunday.
Hey, Shane, I'm liking the new voting system because it's all up for grabs now. Any one of these riders could win it. Are you liking it?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's very close.
Yeah. Did you have to twist his arm to change the voting system?
Yeah, he wanted to. He was.
No, they just did it on me. There was no say for me, mate. I'm just.
He was being a bit too generous.
I'm just going for the ride.
Shane Dye just does what he's told, and we're about to do what we're told because we're moving to my favourite segment. This is Hong Kong Racing School with Mr. Hutchison.
Leader is in Blazon. He put up a length and a half over Bright Day, who's run to second from Proud Box and Awesome Treasure, and a big plunge comes off in Blazon. In Blazon beat Bright Day and Proud Box. Big plunge this, number 7 in Blazon, Jerry Chow at 5.7 and 2.1. He was around 15 into 5.7.
All right, so the plunge comes off, but if you're watching the Hong Kong coverage, you might hear some other references which, for someone like me, Hutch, who's used to, watching the Australian broadcast, they're sort of foreign terms when we talk about green lampers and brown lampers. What are they talking about?
Well, that winner that we had there in Blazon was a brown lamper. So just to put into context and help people understand exactly what they both mean, the colours on the tote board indicate within the last 8 minutes prior to the race start, so it's the late money that's coming from the bigger teams, if the odds drop by 20% or more, they go green. So it's easily identifiable. Yep. And then brown, if within that final 8 minutes, it's 50% or more. So it's a very big go. And of course, naturally with the size of the pools, that's a fair bit of money that is going back in. And, it is very important. So as we are on any race course, you often want to follow the money, don't you? But this is just an example while we've got a moment. So of a brown lamper. So in Blazon, you can see here at 5.7, Elegant Life was another one that was backed in. So his odds didn't quite shorten as much as Emblazon's did, because one was 50%, one was 20% in that last 8 minutes. But what does it all mean, JT? What does this all mean? So what are the stables we should follow when there's a brown lamper? Because, are we going to make money if we follow these? I mean, that's what we want to do. Well, Shane, interestingly, you don't always make the money following the money, but there's a few stables where you do. Francis Loy, look at that, 20% strike rate and a return on investment of 42. Other good stables, David Hall, Douglas White, even Me Choice. So those are the stables that have a reasonable strike rate, but you're actually making something on it. You don't always make the money. And from a jockey's point of view, this is a very important one. So, I mean, I was surprised. Would you be surprised, Shane, that Matthew Poon had over 100 horses brown lap? That in itself's amazing. Wow. I mean, I know a lot of Zach's are shorter, but he's got a pretty good strike rate and you're making money as well. And even Zach. So if one of Zach's are back, you could follow. Yeah. A couple of stats there that are very interesting, Shane.
Luke Ferraris on that looked as though he was the top one on the return.
Yes, he is. He's got a return of investment of 58 and he's certainly getting it done. But yeah, there's certain stables, certain jockeys that you can follow, but it does pay to follow, but you've got to follow the right ones.
And hope that you're not colourblind as well.
Yeah.
Just to explain something, James, to the people, if you watch the Quinella board from Australia, you can see on the Hong Kong Jockey Club, you'll see the Quinellas, and they start to turn green about 3 to 4 minutes before from the computer teams. So then you know from that what horses will eventually be backed on the win tote. But you've got to realise that most of the money from the computer teams doesn't come until the last 2 minutes. So you just got to wait there, watch the Quinella board go green, and then they'll turn brown just before they jump.
All right, well, keep an eye out for the green and the brown lamps there when you're betting in Hong Kong. Hopefully, it can help us make some money. Time for the second part of our star power on today's Triple Trio. We're catching up with one of our favourites, Britney Wong.
Fight time down the centre. It's fight time. A neck in front of Cash's Cash Oriental Surprise and Only You. Fight time in front. Ding, ding, ding. It's fight time. Packing Bowl leads. There is one lone chaser. 3.5 into third Mojave Desert. Packing Bowl. They won't get him. Packing Bowl too fast.
Oh, it's been a fast start to the season for apprentice jockey Britney Wong. I've got a soft spot for these jockeys that ply their trade in my hometown of South Australia, head across to Hong Kong and have success. Britney's absolutely one of those. So we're delighted she joins us on the Triple Trio today. Britney, how are you? Thanks for jumping on.
Well, I'm good, thank you. And how are you guys?
No, we're very well, Britney. Britney, they tell me that, of course, James and yourself spent, like some time together there in South Australia when you were riding for the Hickmont team.
Yes. So when I first get to Australia, and Jess and James, they were the first to take care of me, and I stayed at their house for quite a while, and very thankful for them to take care of me.
Yeah. She had to put up with a couple of our giant Great Dane dogs that will probably weigh double what Britney weighs.
I'm sure they do. They're like a small horse.
Yeah. Yes. So, Britney, they miss you. One day maybe you can come back and visit them in Murray Bridge.
I would love to.
Yeah. I think you're having too much success in Hong Kong. You must be very happy with the start to the season. A couple of winners already. Yeah,
look, it's only the second day of the season, and I already had a double, so it's a very nice start for me. And I also hit the 20th winner, which means it's a first milestone for me, and hopefully keep the ball rolling.
It's obviously quite difficult for any, apprentice to start in Hong Kong. How have you found, making the transition? You had some great success in South Australia and obviously headed back to Hong Kong. Have you found it challenging? Have you found it easy? What have you experienced?
Well, I think Hong Kong is a bit more different from Australia because the racing style here is a bit more faster and more tighter, and obviously all the top jockeys all over the world. And it's another level of like a competitive thing. But at the same time, we're also doing the same thing. We're also racing. We're also riding horses, and I'm not trying to change that. And yeah, it's a big step up for me, but I am getting into it slowly.
So, Britney, you mentioned the milestone, obviously, with your claim reducing. Is that going to make things a little bit harder for you, or you're still as excited and as enthusiastic to continue to ride the winners?
Well, I'm keen to get more winners, and having less claim, that means I am getting the results, and which is good. But at the same time, as a step up, I don't want to be just only one-way rider. I want to be more tactical. I want to be riding more different horses, coming from behind and all that stuff. And I won't say 7 pounds will make a very big difference, but it's kind of like a lift up the bar now that I have to improve more. But yeah.
Britney, I know obviously you have a lot of help there through the Jockey Club with Felix Coetzee and other mentors. Are there any of the other senior jockeys there that you would get some advice or help you learn your craft a little bit more? Is there anyone you rely on?
Well, I sort of ask everything to everyone whenever I get the chance. As you know, we only train at Sha Team, so we see each other basically every day. And whenever we got senior jockeys come to my stable to ride, and I get to gallop with them, that I'll just throw any questions to them, and all of them are very helpful, and they are not try to keep it to themselves, and they are trying to teach me and help me grow. So I'm really appreciate all the chances and opportunity that everyone's given me.
Shane, I might bring you in. Obviously, as a champion jockey yourself, Britney spoke about, taking the next step and continuing to improve. What have you noticed in her riding, and what would be your piece of advice to help her with that transition?
Well, every race is about pace, and if you can get the pace right, you're halfway there. And I'm sure she's learning pace. She was very good on packing pole last week, where she didn't dig it too much early to maintain the lead. And if she had it, that horse would have stopped and run second. I've got no doubt about that. So that was really good, Britney. And you've improved a lot with the pace when you first started sometimes. And it's not just you, it's a lot of apprentices can go too fast and use them too much, and then they weaken. So if you can work on pace, it's just going to be such a big advantage to you. And this season, you're going really well so far. What's your goal for the season? How many winners? Last year, I think you rode 18. So how many would you like to ride this year?
So my goal for this year, I would love to get at least 20, or I hopefully can get to 25. But the short-term goal for me is try to get to Happy Valley as soon as possible, because I'm still not granted to ride there, and I'm really keen to be riding over there, and that will be very exciting to me.
And Britney, don't worry, we're going to, at the end of this interview, we will pass on Shane's phone number to you. So he's always happy to give some advice too. If you need any, please feel free to give him a call.
But if you don't listen, don't ring me. It's a waste of my time. But I'm happy to give advice to anyone, and lots of people ring. But if they're not going to listen, don't ring me. Simple as that.
Hey, Britney, you've got 4 rides.
I will ask any kind of questions.
Yeah. Perfect.
Actually, you got an interesting runner. I think James was going to bring it up. Jolly Companion in race 4. Now, the other day, Britney, it didn't jump well, but sometimes this jumps really well. If he jumps well, he can definitely win. Why is it sometimes he jumps well and then other times he doesn't?
He's an interesting one because he got a bit of a character in him, and he don't normally stand in a stall very still. Like, he can play up a little bit, and sometimes the timing was wrong and he missed the kick, which all the planes throw out the window. But he's one of the horses that he always tries. So I think my main job for the coming Sunday is to get him to jump well.
Do you think he can?
He can
jump well and win, Britney? Has he got a good chance?
I would say so.
Very nice.
He's got the best gate. Gate 12's perfect for him. He can just take his time to come across. He can definitely win, Britney. 100%. If he jumps well, he can definitely win.
Shane is keen on this horse's chances. Just before we let you go, I imagine it must be somewhat lonely in the ladies' jockeys room there by yourself. Are you excited with some new jockeys coming over that you get to share the room now with Holly Doyle?
Absolutely. And Holly is actually one of my favorite jockey all over the world. And she's not tall, so I would say the height of us is very similar. And so I have a perfect role model for me to learn from, because she's very strong, she's very competitive in the finish, and I'm just so excited for her to come over, and I just chase her down.
Yeah,
I won't let her go. I just ask anything.
That's fantastic, Britney. Before we let you go, James was telling me about some of the cooking. Was it the outstanding cooking?
I think I remember, Britney, when you weren't riding, you used to spend some time maybe baking and cooking. Are you still doing that sort of stuff?
Well, so in the apprentice school in Hong Kong, we do have a kitchen lady that cooks for me, that we have a specific menu for us to follow. So I don't have to cook for myself at the moment.
Okay.
But it's good to it's good for you in the future to get a husband, Britney. Now, have you got a boyfriend or anyone, for the listeners, so we all know? Because a lot of people like you out there, Britney. So do you have a boyfriend?
Well, try not to focus on that one.
Well said, Britney. Well said.
Britney, thank you so much for joining the Triple Trio. Rapt to catch up again, and thrilled to see that you're having success in Hong Kong. Hopefully plenty more winners this season.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for having me.
Britney Wong there, an emerging star of the jockeys' ranks. Hutch, 20 winners on the board, but I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot more about her.
Oh, and she's still got that valuable claim. I really like her attitude to the sport, and she's an improving rider, and she's definitely come back in great form. So I wish her all the very best. She's a character, and she's pretty good at what she does as well.
And Shane with the hard-hitting questions there at the end.
Yeah, he's a worry. He's a worry.
Speaking of a worry, there's no worries about global racing. Plenty to reflect on, plenty to look forward to. A big weekend right around the world. Feature racing right around the globe this weekend. Plenty to look forward to. And as far as the world pool goes, Hutch, our focus is on Germany for Group 1 racing.
Yes, this weekend. And of course, in the coming weeks, we'll be in Australia a fair bit and all around the world. But if you want to get a bit of information about some of the races in Germany, David Morgan, who writes for Idle Horse, it's a great site, plenty of information on there. He's given Tiffany and Sebastian a great chance in that particular race, and that's of course going to be in Cologne. The Prix von Europa is the main feature there. So we get racing from all over the world, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You can stay up nice and late for that. Time to reflect on a couple of the feature world pool races from last weekend. They were in Australia. They were at Caulfield, and one of them was the Underwood Stakes, and we saw a couple of Cups contenders fight it out. Yeah, we did, and just with a lens onto some of the big races coming up during the spring, of course, Buckaroo, I presume, the Cups are right in contention as well. He looked a great chance. But Shane, what did you make of this win from Sedelius? It was a tenacious win from an improving horse that looks a great chance for Gay Waterhouse. Yeah, well, he's puts himself into a race. He's like most of guys when they get in that situation. They're tough and they keep fighting it out. And, of course, he's European and he's going to be there in the Cups. But there's a couple of others too, Clint, that look good. Yeah, I can tell you what, the MRC, the track this day at Caulfield played really well. Yep. You could win from anywhere. This is the horse to beat, Shane. If you could get a ride in the Caulfield Cup, this will take a lot of beating. Jamie Mellum, I should say, gave a great ride. It drew the barrier, but the late sectionals were off the charts good. He showed he can handle any track condition. He'll only be better over a mile and a half, and I can assure you that he will be tough to beat in the Caulfield Cup, which is, of course, on Everest Day as well. So that's a bonanza day as well. And we've got races from other parts around the world on the same day. In fact, some of the best racing in the world on that day. It's going to be a huge week or weekend of racing there. If you're heading to Caulfield, make sure you get one of these, the little MRC Foundation Pin and Win. Very important too. Yep. Great supporters. And this is a lot of the work that they do with the charity and the MRC Foundation. It's really garnered so much support in recent years, of course, and you buy one of these pens on track and it supports
various charities and whatever may result in. But the MRC are very good at getting behind the foundation day, aren't they?
Yeah, do an incredible job, raise a stack of money for some great causes. As we said, Caulfield Cup and Everest on the same day. And as far as the Everest goes, all the headlines are about the Hong Kong champion, the best sprinter in the world. His name is Ka-Ying Rising, and he's touched down in Australia.
Yeah, it's great to see. And, these days, Shane, we get all this vision all the time. So, you feel like you're kept up to date on social media with how he looks, but he looks great.
He looks fantastic. Every time I turn on the internet, there's something pops up about him walking around, or like this here. We never used to get this once upon a time. Clint, he looks fantastic. He really does.
Yeah, and I believe, of course, that trial will be on the 7th of October. I think David Hayes, I read, Shane, might be coming down for it. Obviously, Zach's got to go back, but I think Hazy might be staying down there for the duration in the lead up to the main race.
I think he would. I think this is very important to him. It's important for Hong Kong. It's important for the horses. So I don't think he'll leave anything unturned, and he'll be with them to make sure.
Shane spoke about the media attention. Surely he was used to that back in his riding days. He would have had cameras following him around left, right and centre.
Any press is good press, is that right, Shane?
That's what I used to say. But unfortunately, I couldn't create a headline, Clint.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Speaking of the Everest, Angel Capital's shored up his spot. He was beaten in the Group 1 last weekend, but definitely not disgraced. We're purposely not going to show that because it might offend some viewers and send them to the sick bay.
We've seen that enough. It was a great run, and he's a horse that, is an interest. You want to see the horses in form go, and he's certainly going to come out of that last race pretty well, isn't he?
All right, time to wrap up the show, the Triple Trio, with our best bets for a big weekend in Hong Kong. Time for a couple of things that caught our eye across social media for the week. And Hutch, one of our favourites from Hong Kong racing, California Spangle, has found a new home.
Yeah, he was a superstar, wasn't he? And it's great to see him. And the living legends do such a good job at attracting some of these big names from around the globe. And we're thrilled, as I'm sure they are, as you can see in that caption, that he has joined many illustrious stars. And you've been out to Living Legends.
I used to live right around the corner from there. It's a great place. You can go out and give a pat and feed a couple of carrots to the old champion racehorses. So might head back there after this show and get up close with California Spangle. Goliath's another one of our favourites on the Triple Trio. And
he is.
Well, his owner, John Stewart, doing incredible things on social media to promote the game. He's really talking the talk and walking the walk.
He's a smart businessman. I like what he's doing. He's there to grow the game. He's investing in it. He's putting his money where his mouth is, and it's great to see.
We want to put some money where our mouth is and hopefully find a couple of winners across the week in Hong Kong racing. Time for best bets. All right, time for the boys to leave us with a couple of good things for the weekend in Hong Kong. Hutch, where are you looking?
If I can give you one tip for the weekend, it'd be just keep backing Zach Purton, because he is going to have an absolute fill-up. And this is one newcomer that he's riding called Packing Phoenix. I've loved the trials. He's got a very tough one to beat in the same race, one of John's sizes, but I think you just take the Quinella, and Packing Phoenix, who's having his debut or making his debut, will be tough to beat. Outside of that, I think Little Paradise will be tough to beat, and I want to take some Quinellas with the 1, 2 and the 10. But Zach could have a field day up there. Shane, what were your thoughts on the day?
I'm going to go race 1, Speedy Smarty. I think from gate 3 he'll lead and be hard to run down, but Sonic Boom, gate 1 or box seat probably, and has got a chance. So those two in that race.
Wednesday, JT, it's National Day. It's Wednesday day meeting at Sha Tin as well.
Looking forward to that. Looking forward to Richo returning next week. He will do that. Hope you've enjoyed the Triple Trio. We'll catch you next time.